Who are you and what is it that brings you to Riviera Connect today?
Hi, I'm Chris Hart. I'm the Chief Executive of Wollens Solicitors, and also I'm the Chair of the English Riviera Bid Company, which manages the destination marketing of tourism throughout the Bay.
Fantastic stuff. And in terms of obviously Riviera Connect, there's obviously two answers here. You've got kind of the Wollens angle and then of course the Riviera Bid angle. So what is it that essentially, what is it that Riviera Connect means to you for Wollens and then for the bid?
Yeah, sure. Well, you're absolutely right. Two different aspects, really.
Yeah.
Wollens being, a business that's grown very substantially within South Devon, but also across Devon as a whole. The Riviera Connect means a huge amount in terms of being able to communicate with other businesses and like-minded people and organisations. It's a really fantastic networking opportunity. As a firm, we've been involved with, the Torbay Business Forum exhibition, if we call it that, going back over many, many years, and we've always been keen to have a stand and to be a sponsor, and it's something that we've always supported and always found that we've both been happy to give to in terms of having plenty of people here, plenty of lawyers come along, give up past their day to be on the stand, and they really enjoy it. Some of them like being around at the end of the day when bays do their beer session at the end, but actually it's always been a great thing to be involved with. And then joining in the tourism side of things, which has happened over the last couple of years, we in the bid company used to run a separate tourism exhibition, combined with a bit of a conference, and that was great. But what we decided was actually, with the bid company joining forces with the Business Forum, we can actually combine two great sectors. There's a lot of overlap anyway. There were people who were exhibiting at both, but actually get a bigger and better event. So that's what you now see here as the product of that, where we're using both halls here at the Riviera Centre in terms of exhibitor space. We've got we've got sessions and seminars and Q&As and people talking throughout the day because we can combine both of those sectors into one. And there's a huge amount of engagement with tourism from the general business sector, because there is this recognition of what it brings to the Bay, both in terms of work opportunities, but also all of our lives. All of us who live here benefit from the fact that the Bay is a tourist resort.
Well, we spoke about obviously what it means for Wollens, what it means for the big company. In terms of the connection of kind of the two, the tourism exhibition and then obviously the business exhibition coming together, what does it kind of, from that higher aspect, what does it kind of mean for those two elements to be brought together? What does this conference mean? What kind of opportunities have you seen come out of this?
Well, in a sense, although we talk about tourism as a sector, the people engaged in the sector are running businesses. So there is a natural synergy, because so many of the people exhibiting, the businesses exhibiting, are providing services that can be provided to the tourism sector, and obviously a lot of the speakers are relevant as well. So there's a huge amount there. But I think also for the businesses seeing tourist businesses here, that's important as well, because tourism has a reputation for being seasonal. It has a reputation for generally involving low-paid jobs. And a lot of what we are striving to do at the moment within the bid company and the destination marketing work that we do is expand way beyond the main 6 weeks of the school summer holidays when we're full anyway. And so a lot of what we're about is about building further and further and further into what we call the shoulder months of the year, encouraging businesses to be open throughout those months, which is a start, and there are issues there around VAT thresholds and all of that, which is a separate subject. But that's a lot of what we're doing, is trying to, make more of being a year-round resort, a year-round destination. And with that comes the more recent influx into the Bay of the larger hotels, the brands, the bigger chains that are coming in. And what they bring is that power of brand. They bring the sort of rooms that many of the people who go to stay anywhere in the country, or frankly anywhere in the world, are wanting. But also they are bringing additional skills into the Bay, in that they are bringing year-round jobs. And with that, they are bringing brand-driven training programs for their staff. The sort of thing that we, beyond South Devon College, we haven't been able to provide in the Bay. And for me, that's really interesting, because if we go abroad, let's go to Italy or France or wherever, in restaurants, let's say, or bars, you're often served by people, women, guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, for whom being a waiter is a profession. They take real pride in that. It's not something that only kids in their holidays or university students are doing, between the ages of 16 and 21 or something, and then they're moving on to do something better. They're actually making careers, proper careers out of hospitality. And for me, that's what, the driving of some of these larger organisations of brands coming into the Bay is all about. And that's going to give the tourism sector in this Bay, real longevity and enables us to look much further into the future.
Fantastic. So I guess, again, you can speak from two different perspectives on this one. In terms of kind of Torbay, beautiful area, lovely coastline, lovely place to live, lovely place to be. What makes it so good for business, essentially? We've got a lovely coming together of the business community, but what makes Torbay a brilliant place for business?
And there's often been a perception that Torbay is a difficult place to do business, and I think going back along, there was this sense that we're at the end of a cul-de-sac, we're surrounded by water. Of course, going back a few years, there was the issue of even getting into the Bay, because we had a road and we didn't know if we'd be stuck for 45 minutes getting in, and all of those transport connectivity issues. Now, I think Torbay is genuinely seen as a good place to do business. There are some fantastic businesses here. I'm sure you're talking today to the high-tech cluster, the high-tech sector. Obviously, you guys are part of that effectively. So, that's grown and is really significant. We have England's biggest fishing port now in Brixham in terms of size of sales, the quantity of sales that goes through. We have a thriving tourism sector, and then a great professional sector, and manufacturing as well. There's a lot going for it, and I think other parts of the region are now looking at the Bay as a place where actually it is really good to do business there. We've got a really significant head of population here. We're larger in terms of population than Exeter.
Fantastic.
And yet there isn't, or hasn't been, that perception, I think. Whether it's in the new digital age has enabled some of those sort of cul-de-sac and where you've got to go down a one-way road almost to get there. Whether that's open doors in terms of which we are all that much more available and connected than we ever were. I'm sure that's helped. But I think also the businesses in the Bay like doing business with each other. And there's a perception there that's good, very positive. So, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's a great range of businesses in the Bay that I think a lot of other areas would be quite jealous of.
I would say so, certainly.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed as well, talking to the high-tech cluster, and even like your point about the fisheries, like you can go to London, and I saw one of the restaurants, they've got crab from Brixham, and things like that. Like it's amazing how connected this place is, and that's just a UK example.
Yeah,
but
and,
you've got
and there's
global
this
as well.
there's this thing about work-life balance, and you know, we talk about it, and I think in the past there's been this perception that, well, if you're in the sleepy southwest, everything moves really slowly and you don't get on with stuff. And as we know, that's absolute
Not the case.
nonsense. But what we do have, and we have this in the office, we have a load of our guys go swimming in the sea every morning.
Fantastic.
And then they're 10 minutes and into the office.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be on the moors or in the coast at weekend, you know, you're minutes away from it, rather than having to make a special day trip or whatever. So I don't think any of us work any less hard. We put in as many hours, but hopefully we don't spend as long commuting, and hopefully we are able to get to whatever leisure activity it is that we want to engage in much more easily than people in other parts of the country. So, and that definitely counts for something.
Definitely. In terms of, and again, you can answer from two perspectives, which is really great for having this chat. In terms of like what you guys are looking for at Wollens and as the bid, in terms of Riviera Connect, like what sort of collaborations are we seeing? What sort of kind of things can we expect? What are you looking for in Riviera Connect? What connections are you going to make?
Well, I mean, Connect is such a brilliant word, so I think that actually is the main point here. But you know, we're only an hour in, and I've spoken to so many people already. My aim this morning, because I've got to be back here this afternoon, was to do a quick whiz round, and then get back and do some work in the office. And I've moved about 5 yards, I think, this morning.
Wow.
That's about as far as I've gone. So that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people here just talking, conversing, talking about different things, and it ranges from business opportunities through to wider things like, you know, I've had chats with politicians this morning about what are we going to do about the road and rail connectivity issues into the southwest.
Right.
We had yet another fire on the M5 yesterday, everything ground to a halt. It took me over 3 hours to get to Exeter yesterday evening for an event. And, you know, I have a firm belief that if we were in the north or the Midlands or the southeast, we'd have had a fourth lane on the M5 probably a decade ago.
Right.
And yet we all know that on Fridays the M5 is problematic. If there's an issue, it's problematic. We have similar issues with the trains, particularly at weekends, with lack of service and Sundays being cancelled and those sorts of things. And, you know, so I've been actively promoting with some of those people this morning, you know, we need to get moving on this as a, not just in the Bay, but across the southwest. We need to start to do something to get these issues being talked about in a joined up, in a connected way. So not only is it about doing business together, but it's about using the business forum, using the bid to start getting some of these messages out, and to try and get people talking about some of the issues that affect our everyday life.
Brilliant. And as you said, obviously you want to get back to the office at some point today.
Oh, I didn't mean that in a rude way.
No, not at all. But obviously you've got a lot more connecting to be done. So I'll make this one my last question.
Yeah, sure.
But essentially, what can we expect from, again, two perspectives from Wollens, from the bid company? What can we expect to see in Q4 going into 2026? What can we expect from you?
Wollens, we've been through a period of really significant growth over the last 20 years, probably. We don't have any more merger plans, so to speak, but we have grown to a size now where we're looking to grow all of our teams. We've recently developed a new sports law team, so we're now working. We have partnerships which are well known with Torquay United, Somerset County Cricket Club, Yeovil Town, Exeter City Football Club, those sorts of organisations. Pleasingly, we're now working with further sports organisations and clubs that I probably can't talk about, but being Bristol-based or northwest based, which is really fantastic. So that's a relatively new sector for us that we're working in, and we're looking to progress and push into different sectors all the time.
Yeah.
From a bid perspective, the big thing that's on our horizon is we are now halfway through what we call Bid 2.
Okay.
So bids are approved for a 5-year time frame. So we're halfway through Bid 2, and we are now thinking about what happens at the end of that Bid 2 period, at the end of 2026.
Yep.
Where we need to be, so we're now starting the project around the consultation to develop Bid 3. So that will be going to ballot next summer, in the summer of 2026. And so we're engaging in a whole load of consultation meetings and projects just at the moment in terms of shaping what Bid 3 will look like.
Okay.
It needs to reflect the wishes of the levy payers. We have well over 1,000 levy payers across the Bay.
Brilliant.
Who pay into the bid. But the bid provides a sustainable level of funding to provide destination marketing to the tourism sector over a 5-year period. I don't know if you're aware that Visit Cornwall have effectively just gone under, and that's because they've been reliant on voluntary contributions or public sector funding. Public sector funding won't continue. It's not going to happen. We used to have a fully funded tourism office in the Bay, lots of people employed. That went years ago, and it's not going to come back with all the pressures on public finance.
Yep.
The destination marketing work that we do has to be funded in a different way, and if the levy payers, if the businesses in the Bay want to be promoted across the country and across the world, then we have to be funding destination marketing. After the Brixham cryptospridiosis outbreak last year, we secured an additional £1 million worth of funding from South West Water.
Brilliant.
Which has been put into additional television advertising for us that's taken place this year and will be taking place again next year.
Fantastic.
And in a sense, that's shown the real value of destination marketing, because we've taken a leap ahead with the additional investment this year. So our numbers for this summer are really good.
Brilliant.
The serviced accommodation sector, just as one sector, is up 14% in the Bay this summer, whilst a lot of the southwest is down. The Isle of Wight are reporting an 11% drop in their tourism numbers this year. Cornwall, we know, has had its struggles, other parts of Devon, but we've had a really, really positive summer. And that gives us a base to build on and to move ahead. Let's not rest on our laurels. Let's keep that going and get Bid 3 in and crack on.
Excellent stuff. So all good stuff to look forward to then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Great. Well, thank you.
Enjoyed our conversation. And
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.